Hey guys, Dominating Reaper here. So, I have just got done watching season 2 of Squid Game. Look, nobody expected season 1 to be quite the global phenomenon it turned out to be. But obviously, it made its cultural footprint through obviously its interesting battle royale-esque premise, and its unique, instantly recognizable imagery. But what allowed it to really catch on around the world was the likable and sympathetic cast of characters. And so, naturally, yes, an unexpected success like that, you bet your ass Netflix is going to capitalize. And so, obviously, we've got season 2, and season 3 is coming to wrap things up. So, I was curious to see how they would follow up such a lightning in a bottle phenomenon. But does it live up to the unexpected hit of season 1? Let's find out. So the season picks up pretty much where the last one left off, with Song Gi-hun, the sole winner of the games, declaring to its creators that he will have his revenge. Cut to 2 years later, and he's been putting the prize money he won from the games to great use, paying for fully manned search units to track down the recruiter in order to get himself one step closer to bringing down the games and their creators. However, when the search goes wrong, Gi-hun, in a desperate bid, agrees to go back to the island and take part in the games in order to bring them down from within. So, when you're following up something that was such an unexpected lightning in a bottle phenomenon, you can expect to come up short the second time around because obviously the element of surprise from the first time around is not available to you. All of that to say that, yeah, this rings true for Squid Game Season 2. It doesn't quite hit those heights that the first season reached, but in saying that, yeah, pretty damn good go of it, and actually got closer than you'd expect. Now, obviously, with this being the first half of a larger story that will be resolved in Season 3, you can expect that it takes a few episodes to really get going. As you know, we've got to set up a 2 season story, and so the first few episodes are kinda slow as it's really taking its time putting all the pieces into place. And don't get me wrong, there's interesting stuff in those episodes. It's obviously interesting catching up with these characters 2 years on, seeing how they've grown and changed in the time. And in general, the build up to the games is very interesting stuff. But you can definitely feel it's maybe dragging its heels a bit. You're like, all right, let's just get to the stuff that we want to. But a few episodes in, when we arrive at the games, all the pieces are in place, and it just locks in. And obviously, yes, that sort of element of anti-capitalist satire that runs through the series. Obviously, our sheer desperation to make a quick buck, by any means. That really runs through present and correct. And of course, it's sold by a helping of that Korean pitch black humor that lands very consistently throughout. Plenty of big laughs to be found here. But obviously, what makes this really sing is the characters. The characters here, as with season 1, are all very likable and sympathetic. They're company that you actually get really invested in, and you want to see them persevere and triumph through the games, and not get gunned down by men dressed in pink. But but they are a sympathetic bunch worth getting invested in. Obviously, at the center of it, we have Gi-hun, played once again by Lee Jung-jae, and obviously in the time between seasons, he of course took on the role of Jedi Master Saul in everyone's favorite show, The Acolyte. And once again, he is fantastic. He's a changed man now, following on from his experience in the games. He's more hardened, a man on a mission, determined to succeed, but at what cost? And he does a great job with that. And it was also fun very much seeing him, use his experience from previously playing the games to, sort of serve as something of a mentor, a figure of guidance to all the other contenders. That was a very interesting dynamic and did help keep things fresh. And obviously, joining him on the games, we have a rapper, a crypto bro whose financial advice lost a load of people a bunch of money, a heavily pregnant woman, an ex Marine, a shaman, and even Gihun's own best friend. And we also have in amongst the lineup some, positive, wholesome trans representation. It's a sort of more nuanced representation. It's not like a lot of American stuff where where the trans identity is the whole character. Now there's a bit more nuance, a bit more depth to it that they kept it interesting to watch. And in general, all of these characters are interesting and very well written. And the dynamics that form between these characters are what keeps it engaging to watch, especially towards the latter half of the show as the real, gut punches kick in, as we really settle into the company of these characters. They're all very, very likable. And obviously, yes, they're thrust into these, deadly games. And this is where it sort of runs the risk of going into rehash territory. Because obviously, yes, there are those familiar elements that were in season one as well. Obviously, with the first game being red light, green light, and that sort of team game element later on in the season, it definitely hits on beats you'd expect it to, following on from what happened last time around. But it adds plenty of new stuff to keep the proceedings fresh. New games and some unexpected twists in there as well. And much like in season one, yeah, the games are, they are tense, they are gripping, they are masterfully staged. And it would not work nearly as well as it does if, we weren't, invested in this likable group of characters, but we are, so that allows that extra edge of your seat element to really hit so good. And it's an incredibly well made show once again. That production design is, on point. The bright colors of the sort of secret area where they play the games without those like Lego floors. you know, I've kind of missed being in this world, and yeah, it is, once again, incredibly well made. They have not missed a beat. The costume design is great as always, and the score and sound design, everything about it is incredibly well done, and it is, immensely well shot. Some really striking shot composition. It's just a really, really well made series in general, and it really, really kicks into its own in the last couple of episodes. It really hits its stride, as the stakes raise in a big way. And of course that carries right through to the finale where, where it goes all out, guns blazing, immensely satisfying, but also, incredibly thrilling, but also quite rich emotionally as well, throwing in some twists, some turns, some hard hitting emotional gut punches to ensure that you're on the edge of your seat and the season ends on a high. But oh my god, that cliffhanger. Oh, yeah. The fact they had to end it there. Why, Netflix? Why? Oh, I was so invested in it as well, and then it just like ends there of all places. I if you've not seen the season, I won't spoil, but yeah, prepare to be prepare to be frustrated. Thankfully though, we don't have too long to wait for season three because the gap between season two and three is only shit.
Dread it, run from it,
6 months.
arrives all the same.
Overall though, I enjoyed season two of Squid Game. Obviously, it adds just enough new elements in to keep the proceedings fresh, and it is incredibly exciting and grippingly told once again, and I cannot wait to see how Gi-hun's story ends. Out of 10, Squid Game Season 2 gets a 7.5. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Season 2 of Squid Game? What did you think of it? What did you make of it in comparison to Season 1? What did you make of that cliffhanger ending? And are you looking forward to seeing how they wrap things up in Season 3? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.